Welcome to Animal Quests. Today we're diving into the deep blue sea to uncover its darkest secrets and most terrifying creatures. From stealthy predators lurking in the shadows to sudden heart-pounding attacks, we'll be showcasing 7 of the most fearsome underwater encounters. Whether it's the mighty orca or the infamous shark, get ready for a thrilling journey beneath the waves. The first story takes us to the sunny beaches of the Maldives, a place where crystal-clear waters meet breathtaking sunsets. In the summer of 2020, 3 best friends, Emma, Olivia, and Sophia, embarked on a dream vacation, seeking relaxation and adventure. The serene beauty of the Maldives promised them an unforgettable experience. But what awaited them was a nightmare they could never have imagined. Emma, Olivia, and Sophia had been planning this trip for months. They were inseparable, their bond strengthened by years of shared experiences and adventures. During the trip from the airport to the resort, the friends chatted excitedly with their driver, who mentioned a recent shark attack that had occurred a few weeks ago. A tourist had barely survived after a harrowing encounter with a shark. As the driver recounted the story, Sophia felt a chill run down her spine. She had always had a deep-seated fear of sharks, a fear that was now bubbling to the surface. Sophia suggested they should be careful, noting that the attack wasn't that long ago. Despite her concern, Emma, always the adventurous spirit, waved off Sophia's worries. Emma believed the chances of another shark attack happening so soon were extremely slim. Olivia, ever the peacemaker, reassured Sophia that they would stick together and stay close to the shore, emphasizing the clarity of the water, which would allow them to see anything approaching from a distance. Despite her friend's reassurances, Sophia couldn't shake the feeling of unease. As the sun began to set, they decided it was the perfect time for their first snorkeling adventure. Emma and Olivia's excitement was infectious, and Sophia reluctantly followed them into the sea. The underwater world was mesmerizing. Colorful fish darted around them, and the coral reefs glowed in the fading light. They swam further out, entranced by the beauty surrounding them. Laughter filled the air as they pointed out different sea creatures to each other, their hearts light and carefree. Suddenly, the tranquil scene turned into chaos. Sophia felt a sharp tug on her leg, and a moment later she was pulled underwater. She struggled to surface, her eyes wide with terror. Emma and Olivia heard her muffled scream and turned to see the water around her turning red. Panic set in as they realized what was happening. A shark was attacking their friend. Without a second thought, Emma and Olivia swam towards Sophia, desperate to save her. They grabbed her arms, trying to pull her away from the shark's grip. The shark, a massive shadow beneath the water, thrashed violently, refusing to let go. Sophia's screams were heart-wrenching, filled with agony and fear. The shark's powerful jaws clamped down on Sophia's leg again, and Emma and Olivia could see the desperation in her eyes. They fought with all their strength, kicking and hitting the shark, but it was relentless. The few people on the beach noticed the commotion and began shouting for help, their voices filled with urgency. The minutes felt like hours. Emma and Olivia's attempts to save Sophia were in vain. The shark was too strong, and their friend's strength was waning. Sophia's grip on their hands weakened, and with a final blood-curdling scream, she was pulled under the water, disappearing into the depths. Emma and Olivia were left floating in the blood-streaked water, their hearts pounding with terror and grief. They clung to each other, their bodies shaking with sobs. It was then that they realized the extent of their own injuries. Emma's leg had been severely bitten, with deep puncture wounds and torn flesh, causing significant blood loss. Olivia had deep gashes on her arms and back from the shark's thrashing, and her leg was also severely lacerated, bleeding profusely. On the beach, a few remaining tourists had witnessed the horrific scene and immediately called for help. Rescue boats were dispatched quickly, slicing through the water towards the site of the attack. Meanwhile, a medical helicopter was also scrambled, and the critically injured friends were carefully loaded in. The whirring of the helicopter blades drowned out the sounds of the ocean below as it took off, heading for the nearest hospital. Despite the best efforts of the medical team on board, Emma and Olivia's injuries were too severe. They fought bravely, but the trauma and blood loss were insurmountable. The tragic news of their deaths spread quickly, casting a shadow over the beautiful paradise of the Maldives. An investigation into the shark attack was launched, and authorities decided to close the beach to prevent further incidents. This was the worst attack ever recorded in the Maldives, at least according to the archives. The shark that attacked the Friends was a rare and aggressive species not typically found in these waters, making the incident even more shocking and devastating. The story of Emma, Olivia, and Sophia stands as a somber testament to the raw power of nature and the thin line between adventure and danger. The next story takes us to the stunning tropical waters of Bora Bora, a paradise known for its crystal-clear turquoise lagoons and vibrant marine life. In the summer of 2023, Chloe, a famous Instagram model, and her supportive boyfriend Ryan set out on an adventure they believed would be both thrilling and picturesque. They aimed to capture the perfect moments with dolphins, but their dream quickly turned into a nightmare. This is the story of Chloe and Ryan's harrowing encounter with the ocean's darker side. Chloe had always been captivated by the ocean. Her Instagram was filled with pictures of her in exotic locations, and her followers eagerly awaited her next post. This time, she was determined to outdo herself. Accompanied by Ryan, who was always by her side supporting her endeavors, they planned an exclusive photo shoot with the dolphins of Bora Bora. The couple rented a private boat, complete with a professional crew, to ensure they captured the best shots. The day began with excitement and anticipation. Chloe and Ryan stood on the deck, marveling at the playful dolphins that leaped around the boat. The captain and crew shared their knowledge about the dolphins and the safety precautions needed. They emphasized the dangers of the open water and firmly instructed that no one should dive in without supervision. Chloe listened but was already envisioning the perfect shot. As the boat lay still in the calm lagoon, she captured stunning photos of the dolphins from the deck. But something was missing. She wanted a more immersive shot, one that would take her Instagram to the next level. A photo near the dolphins would surely get more likes, she thought. Ryan, looking concerned, suggested she get the shots from the deck, as the captain had advised. Chloe, however, was determined. She believed a picture from the water would capture the essence she was aiming for. Her determination outweighed the warnings, even as she noticed the dolphins starting to swim away, a look of disappointment crossing her face. Ignoring the captain's earlier caution and Ryan's pleas, Chloe slipped into the water, laughing as the dolphins swam further away, startled by her sudden splash. The crew exchanged worried glances, murmuring among themselves about the recklessness of her decision. She posed and clicked away, unaware of the shadow that lurked beneath the surface. Suddenly, the dolphins disappeared entirely, leaving an eerie silence. Ryan, sensing something was wrong, urgently called out to Chloe, telling her to get back on the boat immediately. Chloe turned to swim back, but her smile vanished as she saw a dark fin cutting through the water towards her. The fin belonged to a massive shark, at least 12 feet long, its sleek body moving with terrifying speed. Panic set in. Chloe swam frantically, her arms and legs thrashing in the water. The crew on the boat sprang into action, throwing life rings and shouting instructions. Ryan's heart raced as he saw the shark close in on Chloe. The fin drew closer, and Chloe felt a sharp pain as the shark's teeth grazed her leg. She screamed, the sound piercing through the chaos. Ryan didn't hesitate. He dove into the water, swimming with all his might towards Chloe. As he reached her, the shark bit down, this time more forcefully, causing Chloe to cry out in agony. Blood stained the water, the shark's eyes cold and unyielding. Ryan fought through the panic, wrapping one arm around Chloe while using the other to push her towards the boat. The shark circled back, its dorsal fin cutting through the water like a knife. With one final burst of energy, Ryan kicked furiously towards the boat, Chloe clinging to him. The crew pulled them both up, their hearts pounding. Chloe's leg was bleeding profusely, and deep gashes revealed the brutality of the attack. They wrapped her in towels, applying pressure to the wound as they rushed back to shore where an ambulance awaited. As they sped back, Chloe clung to Ryan, her eyes wide with fear and pain. The reality of the danger they had ignored was starkly clear now. Upon reaching the shore, medics were ready. Chloe was quickly transferred to the ambulance and Ryan went with her, never letting go of her hand. Chloe's injuries were severe. The shark's teeth had torn through muscle and tissue, and she required immediate surgery. Doctors worked to repair the damage, but the physical and emotional scars would take much longer to heal. In the aftermath, an investigation was launched into the incident. Authorities questioned the boat crew and reviewed their safety protocols. Experts noted that the area, while usually safe, had seen a recent increase in shark sightings, possibly due to changes in their prey's migration patterns. The captain reiterated his warnings, emphasizing that the ocean, while beautiful, is home to many dangers. The next story takes us to the sunny shores of the Florida Keys, a paradise where crystal-clear waters invite endless adventures. In the summer of 2023, two best friends, James and Kyle, set out for a thrilling day on their jet skis. What began as an exciting adventure quickly turned into a harrowing ordeal. James and Kyle had always been inseparable. Their friendship, built on years of shared adventures and mutual respect, was the kind that most people only dream of. They were drawn to the water, finding solace and thrill in the waves of the Florida Keys. That fateful summer day, the sun was shining brightly, the sky a perfect azure, and the sea seemed to be inviting them for yet another memorable experience. The Florida Keys, with their vibrant coral reefs and abundant marine life, were a paradise for water enthusiasts. Known for its diverse ecosystem, the area was home to manatees, dolphins, sea turtles, and a variety of colorful fish. However, it was also a place where the unexpected could happen, where the beauty of nature could swiftly turn into danger. As they zipped across the turquoise waters on their jet skis, laughter and shouts of joy echoed around them. The duo felt invincible, the salt spray and the rush of wind adding to their euphoria. The Florida Keys were their playground, and they intended to make the most of every moment. Suddenly, a sight caught Kyle's eye: a pod of orcas swimming gracefully in the distance. These majestic creatures, also known as killer whales, were a rare sight in these waters. Their black and white bodies moved with a fluid grace, and their sheer size was awe-inspiring. Kyle pointed excitedly, and James turned to see the orcas slicing through the water with mesmerizing ease. The sight was breathtaking, a rare glimpse into the lives of these magnificent creatures. Orcas, known for their intelligence and complex social structures, were apex predators of the ocean. Their presence here was both thrilling and unexpected, as they usually preferred cooler waters. Ignoring the warnings from the locals about the potential dangers, the friends decided to get a closer look. James, always the more cautious of the two, hesitated briefly but was quickly swayed by Kyle's infectious enthusiasm. They steered their jet skis towards the pod, their hearts pounding with a mix of excitement and nervousness. The orcas seemed almost playful, their dorsal fins cutting through the water as they swam in unison. James couldn't shake off a feeling of unease, a sixth sense tingling at the back of his mind. He glanced at Kyle, who was beaming with childlike wonder. As they drew closer, the sheer size of the orcas became more apparent. Some of the males were over 20 feet long, their powerful bodies moving with effortless grace. James felt a rush of adrenaline, but his caution was overshadowed by the thrill of the moment. Without warning, James noticed a disturbance beneath the surface. His gut instinct screamed at him to stop, and he did, signaling Kyle to do the same. The water around them grew eerily calm, a stark contrast to the adrenaline-filled moments just before. Then, in an instant, chaos erupted. An enormous orca rammed into James's jet ski with incredible force, sending him flying into the water. The impact was so sudden and violent that James barely had time to register what had happened. He splashed into the ocean, disoriented and terrified. Kyle, who had been watching from a distance, initially laughed, thinking it was all part of the adventure. But his amusement turned to horror when James's screams pierced the air. He thrashed in the water, feeling the powerful currents created by the orca's movements. Panic surged through him as he felt something massive brush against his leg. His mind raced with fear, picturing the orca's massive jaws closing around him. He fought to stay afloat, his heart pounding in his chest. Kyle, realizing the gravity of the situation, revved his jet ski and sped towards his friend. The water churned violently as the orca circled beneath James, its presence a terrifying reminder of the ocean's unpredictability. Kyle reached out, shouting for James to grab his hand. With a surge of effort, James managed to grasp it, and Kyle pulled him onto the jet ski, both of them breathing heavily, eyes wide with fear. Just as they thought they were safe, the orca surfaced again, its immense body breaking the water mere feet from them. It let out a powerful exhale, the sound echoing across the waves. The friends sped away, their hearts pounding, not daring to look back until they reached the shore. Breathing heavily, they collapsed on the sand, the reality of what had just happened sinking in. The locals gathered around, their faces a mix of concern and relief. They had witnessed the entire ordeal from the beach, powerless to intervene but praying for the friends' safety. In the aftermath, authorities investigated the incident, attributing the orca's behavior to the increasing disturbances caused by boats and jet skis in their habitat. The once serene waters of the Florida Keys had become a battleground between human activity and marine life, a stark reminder of the delicate balance between nature and adventure. James and Kyle, though shaken, were grateful to be alive. The Florida Keys, once their playground, had shown them that even paradise held its dangers, and they would never forget the day their joyride turned into a fight for survival. The next story takes us to the pristine beaches of Australia, where the crystal-clear waters and golden sands create a paradise for those seeking relaxation and adventure. In the summer of 2019, a father named Paul and his daughter Emma decided to spend a sunny day snorkeling together. They hoped for a peaceful family outing, but what they encountered was a nightmare they could never have imagined. This is the story of Paul and Emma's horrifying encounter with one of the ocean's most dreaded predators. Paul had always been a cautious man. As a father, his primary concern was the safety and well-being of his only daughter, Emma. At 18, Emma was fiercely independent, eager to assert her autonomy and make her own decisions. Their relationship was built on mutual respect and love, but like any father-daughter duo, they had their disagreements. That morning, the beach was idyllic. The gentle waves lapped against the shore, and the sun bathed the scene in a warm, golden glow. Paul and Emma had planned this snorkeling trip for months, looking forward to exploring the vibrant underwater world teeming with life. As they geared up, Emma's excitement was palpable. As they swam out into the clear blue water, the beauty of the coral reefs and the colorful fish mesmerized them. Paul stayed close to Emma, constantly glancing around, ever vigilant. They had been snorkeling for about an hour when Emma stopped and turned to her father, asking if she could swim a bit further on her own to explore more. Paul hesitated. The protective instinct in him screamed to say no, but he saw the earnestness in her eyes. After a brief pause, he nodded, reluctantly agreeing but urging her not to go too far and assuring her that he would be right there. Emma grinned and swam off, her lithe form cutting through the water with ease. Paul watched her for a moment before deciding to head back to the beach for a break. As he approached the shore, he turned around to keep an eye on Emma. It was then that he saw it. A dark fin slicing through the water, heading straight towards his daughter. A surge of panic shot through Paul. He shouted for Emma to swim back immediately, his voice raw with fear. Emma, oblivious to the impending danger, looked back in confusion. It wasn't until she saw the terror in her father's eyes that she realized something was terribly wrong. She began to swim back, but it was too late. The shark was upon her in an instant. Paul's heart pounded in his chest as he raced back into the water, his legs moving faster than they ever had before. Every second felt like an eternity. The water churned with the frenzied motion of the shark as it attacked Emma. Paul reached her, adrenaline surging through his veins as he fought to save his daughter. In the chaos, Paul grabbed a piece of coral from the ocean floor, using it to strike at the shark. He hit it repeatedly, desperately trying to drive it away. The shark's rough skin tore at his hands, but he didn't stop. He couldn't stop. All he could think about was saving Emma. Finally, the shark released its grip on Emma and swam away. leaving a trail of blood in the water. Paul pulled Emma to the surface, her body limp in his arms. He swam towards the shore with every ounce of strength he had left. When they reached the beach, Paul's screams for help echoed across the sands. Bystanders rushed to their aid, calling for emergency services. Paul cradled Emma, whispering to her, begging her to stay with him. The minutes stretched into what felt like hours as they waited for help to arrive. The ambulance finally came, and paramedics worked frantically to stabilize Emma. Paul watched in agony, his hands trembling, his heart shattered. The beach, once a place of beauty and joy, had become a scene of terror and despair. An investigation followed the attack, revealing chilling details about the predator they had encountered. The shark was estimated to be a great white, measuring nearly 15 feet in length. Its teeth, sharp and serrated, were designed for tearing through flesh with terrifying efficiency. Marine biologists studying the bite marks confirmed that the shark had struck with incredible force, indicative of its size and power. Emma had sustained severe injuries from the attack. She had deep lacerations on her leg and side, where the shark had clamped down. The wounds required extensive medical attention, including surgeries to repair the damage. Paul, in his desperate attempt to save his daughter, had suffered deep cuts on his hands and arms from striking the shark and the coral. His injuries, though painful, were a testament to his bravery and determination. Paul's courage and quick thinking saved Emma's life, but the experience left an indelible mark on them both. The next story is about a crocodile attack. Crocodiles can be very dangerous, lurking in the murky waters, always ready to strike with incredible force and precision. In the summer of 2021, a terrifying incident took place in the remote Amazon rainforest near the twisting rivers of Brazil. This is the story of Aria and Kai, a daring couple whose adventure turned into a nightmare. Aria, a passionate and adventurous photographer, had always dreamed of capturing the wild beauty of the Amazon. By her side was Kai, her devoted boyfriend and partner in all her escapades. The two had explored many exotic locations together, but this journey promised something extraordinary. The day began with an air of excitement and anticipation. They had decided to go canoeing, exploring the untamed waters of the Amazon. The dense forest around the river was alive with the sounds of exotic birds and unseen animals. The air was thick with humidity, and the sun cast shimmering reflections on the water. Aria and Kai paddled their canoes through the tranquil river, capturing the stunning scenery and narrating their experience for Aria's growing portfolio. As they drifted further, the forest seemed to close in around them, its canopy casting deep shadows over the river. The sounds of the jungle grew louder and more intense, as if warning them of the unseen dangers ahead. Kai, ever cautious, couldn't shake a feeling of unease. He had heard stories about the dangers of these waters, and he couldn't help but feel they were being watched. Aria, however, was lost in the beauty of the surroundings. Her camera clicked away as she captured the vibrant colors and textures of the Amazon. Her eyes sparkled with excitement when she spotted movement on the riverbank. A group of capybaras was grazing peacefully, and Aria's heart raced with the thrill of capturing such a rare sight. Determined to get the perfect shot, Aria carefully waded into the cool water, feeling a chill run down her spine. She brushed it off as excitement, unaware of the danger lurking just beneath the surface. The river was calm, its surface giving no hint of the predator waiting below. Each stroke she took was cautious, the riverbed soft and uneven under her feet. Kai stayed in the canoe, his eyes darting nervously across the water. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, but he didn't want to dampen Aria's enthusiasm. Aria focused on her camera, aiming to capture the majestic capybaras in their natural habitat. She inched closer to the shore, the animals unaware of her presence. The moment was perfect, almost surreal in its tranquility. Then, without warning, the serene moment turned into chaos. The water erupted in a violent splash, and a massive crocodile lunged from the depths, its jaws clamping around Aria's leg. Aria screamed, a sound of pure terror that echoed through the jungle. Kai's heart raced with fear and desperation. He paddled frantically towards her, the canoe rocking precariously as he reached out, trying to grab her arm. But the crocodile was relentless, dragging Arya deeper into the murky depths. Time seemed to stand still. Arya's world was a blur of pain and fear, the water around her turning red. She felt the crushing power of the crocodile's jaws, its teeth like razor blades carving into her flesh. Every instinct screamed at her to fight to survive. Kai reached her just as she was about to be pulled under completely. With a strength born of sheer desperation, he jammed his thumb into the crocodile's eye. The beast thrashed in agony, loosening its grip. He grabbed Arya's arm and pulled with all his might. For a moment, it was a tug of war between man and beast, the outcome hanging in the balance. Just when they thought it was over, another crocodile attacked. Kai screamed in horror and began beating the crocodile fiercely with a paddle. The powerful blows finally made the beast release Arya. They tumbled back into the canoe, Arya gasping for air, her leg a mangled mess of blood and torn flesh. The crocodile lingered, its cold eyes watching them retreat before slipping silently back into the depths. Kai tore off his shirt, using it as a makeshift tourniquet to stem the bleeding. He pleaded with Arya to stay with him, his voice choked with emotion. They had to get her to safety. The journey back was a blur of pain and fear. Kai paddled with desperate speed, his heart pounding with terror and love. Arya clung to consciousness, her mind drifting in and out of the nightmare that had unfolded. As they reached the shore, the sight of other campers brought a rush of relief. Help was quickly summoned, and Arya was rushed to medical attention. She had suffered severe injuries, including deep lacerations and puncture wounds on her leg, and she lost a significant amount of blood. The pain was excruciating, and the recovery would be long and arduous. Authorities were swift to respond, closing off the area to prevent further incidents. They issued warnings to other adventurers and tourists about the heightened risks in the region. In the aftermath, Arya promised herself never to venture into the water again. Her experience became a powerful, cautionary tale, reminding everyone of the respect nature demands. This is why we are sharing this story on YouTube. The next story takes us to the awe-inspiring Mavericks, California, a place where the raw beauty of the Pacific Ocean meets its untamed power. In the summer of 2014, two friends named Tom and Chris embarked on a surfing adventure they had dreamed about for years. They sought thrill and camaraderie, but what awaited them was beyond their wildest nightmares. This is one of the most tragic shark attacks ever happened in California. Tom and Chris, both 26, were passionate surfers. They had spent countless hours chasing the perfect wave, their bond solidified by shared adrenaline and the ocean's embrace. This summer, Mavericks called to them with its legendary swells. The journey began with excitement bubbling in the air as they loaded their surfboards into the back of Chris's old, reliable truck. As the sun rose, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange, the duo set off. The road trip was filled with laughter, stories of past adventures, and anticipation. Hours later, they arrived at Mavericks. The towering waves crashed against the rugged cliffs, a sight that was both breathtaking and daunting. As they prepared to unload their gear, a large weathered sign caught their attention. Warning, shark sightings frequent, enter at your own risk. For a moment, a sliver of doubt crept into their minds. Tom glanced at Chris, his eyes reflecting both excitement and apprehension. They briefly considered turning back, but the call of the waves was too strong. They had driven all this way, and their determination to surf Mavericks outweighed their fears. They pushed their doubts aside. The ocean called to them, and the thrill of riding Mavericks' legendary waves outweighed their fear. They waxed their boards, suited up, and made their way to the water's edge. The first few waves were exhilarating, their fears melting away with each successful ride. The rush of adrenaline coursed through their veins, making them feel invincible. The sun was high in the sky when Tom paddled out further, chasing a particularly enticing swell. Chris followed closely, the two friends lost in the sheer joy of their sport. As Tom positioned himself to catch the wave, the water around him seemed to shift, an unnatural stillness settling over the ocean. Before he could react, a dark shadow loomed beneath him. In a heartbeat, the water exploded in a frenzy of teeth and thrashing fins. Tom's scream pierced the air, a sound of pure terror that sent chills down Chris's spine. He turned just in time to see the massive shark clamp down on Tom's leg, pulling him under the water. The shark was a great white, an apex predator of the ocean, known for its size and power. This particular shark was enormous, at least 16 feet long, with rows of serrated teeth designed to tear through flesh. Its eyes were cold and black, reflecting the primal instinct to hunt and kill. Chris paddled furiously towards his friend. The scene was chaotic, the water stained red as Tom struggled against the shark's vice-like grip. Desperation fueled Chris's actions. He reached Tom, grabbing his arm and trying to pull him free. But the shark's power was overwhelming. In a move born of pure instinct, Chris began punching the shark's nose, a sensitive area known to sometimes deter these predators. For a moment, it seemed to work. The shark loosened its grip and Tom's head broke the surface, gasping for air. But their relief was short-lived. A second shark appeared, its dorsal fin slicing through the water with terrifying speed. This one was slightly smaller but no less deadly, another great white drawn by the commotion. Chris's eyes widened in horror as the new predator joined the fray, its jaws closing around Tom's torso. The force of the attack knocked Chris back and he watched in helpless agony as his friend was pulled under once more. The ocean churned with violent energy, the two sharks circling and striking with relentless precision. Chris's mind raced, desperate to save Tom, but he was powerless against the predators. His own safety now in jeopardy, he was forced to retreat, paddling towards the shore with all his might. As he reached the shallows, Chris collapsed on the sand, gasping for breath. He turned to look back at the water, his heart shattering as he saw no sign of Tom. The ocean had claimed his best friend, and there was nothing he could do. Tears streamed down his face, mixing with the salty spray of the waves. The beach was eerily quiet, the tragic scene unfolding without an audience. Chris's cries of anguish echoed in the stillness, a haunting reminder of the ocean's unforgiving power. He knew he had to find help, but his legs felt like lead, his mind numb with shock. Eventually, he stumbled to his feet and made his way to the nearest lifeguard station, his voice hoarse as he recounted the horrific events. The rescue team sprang into action, but deep down, Chris knew it was too late. Tom was gone, lost to the depths of the ocean they had both loved so much. The aftermath was a blur of sirens, flashing lights, and grief. The authorities searched the waters, but there was no trace of Tom. The beach, once a place of joy and adventure, was now a site of unimaginable sorrow. Thanks for joining us on this spine-chilling journey through the deep blue sea. If you enjoyed learning about these terrifying underwater encounters, make sure to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more thrilling content. Until next time, stay safe and keep exploring.